Chapter 20 Blast from the Past. Everywhere Mal went in Dragon Hall, it was like her old life was mocking her. She had her work cut out for her to convince everyone that she was straight and true. That was for sure. It was hard for them to believe she was really Mal of Ordon now. To them, she would always be Maleficent's rotten little spawn. Or worse, if they did believe she was good, they were disappointed in her. That much was clear when she went to meet with Lady Tremaine, who had once taught her advanced evil schemes. The evil stepmother was less than thrilled to see her best student fall into the clutches of good, as she put it. "Oh, Mal, how far you've fallen," sighed Lady Tremaine. "And now you've corrupted my little Dizzy as well." "I'm proud of Dizzy," said Mal. "She's a great kid." Lady Tremaine waved her hand dismissively. "I suppose I should rest my hopes on my other grandchildren. I know why you're here. You know about the VK program and the Ordon Prep Roundtable tomorrow?" Yes. We received the royal proclamation and heard about your, shall we say, ineffective balcony announcement," said Lady Tremaine, sniffing. She picked up the application form that Mal had placed on her desk and read it out loud. "Mal and King Ben ask you to be truthful and sincere and to always speak from the heart." The steely-eyed professor looked over at Mal through her pince-nez glasses. "Where on earth do you think you'll find students who will act that way? Not here." Mal flushed. "We need to find them to unite our divided kingdom." "Good luck," said Lady Tremaine dryly. "I know there are students at this very school who have the courage to join us in Ordon." "I was one," said Mal. "I just didn't know it back then." She tried to sit straighter and project some kind of authority. Ben always seemed to be able to command the respect of the room in his council meetings. Why couldn't Mal convince just this one person to take her seriously? Lady Tremaine drummed her fingers on her desk. The Mal I knew excelled at evil pranks. The Mal I knew spelled a boy to force him to fall in love with her. The Mal I knew is just biding her time to rule the kingdom. She winked. "That is what you're doing, isn't it?" Mal was about to protest when she nodded. If she couldn't beat him, she would at least pretend to join him. In the end, she just wanted to make sure the kids came to the discussion tomorrow and had access to the applications, even if she and Lady Tremaine couldn't see eye to eye. "Exactly. Excellent. I will be happy to find such students to send you tomorrow," said Lady Tremaine. Coach Gaston was running doomball drills when Jay interrupted to talk about the new VK program. Gaston looked the same as he always did, dark-haired, aggressively handsome with his swell cleft of a chin, and still as large as a barge. "You want me to talk to the kids about going to school in Ordon?" he asked, scratching his incredibly thick neck. "And send them to some event you have planned tomorrow?" "Would you, Coach?" asked Jay. Gaston shrugged. "What do they have in Ordon that's so great anyway?" "For starters, they can have 5 dozen eggs for breakfast if they want," said Jay, who knew the way to Gaston's heart was through his breakfasts. "We have that here," said Gaston. "Rotten, of course, but you get used to the taste." "Right," Jay said with a sigh. "I'll leave the forms here just in case." Madame Mim was in between teaching classes in alchemy when Carlos arrived. "Shut the door," she screeched when he entered. "You're letting in too much sunlight." "Bah! I hate sunlight." "Okay, sorry," said Carlos. "How are you, Professor?" "As bad as can be," moaned Madame Mim. "Ever since they closed off the catacombs, I've been terribly hungry." Madame Mim used the old tunnels to poach sheep and wildlife from the farms surrounding Camelot. She had quite a large appetite when she was in her dragon form. She narrowed her eyes suddenly. "Weren't you one of the kins responsible for shutting them down?" "Well, Carlos stammered. Then he shook his head. His mother might be terrifying, but he wasn't going to let himself be intimidated by Madame Mim. "Sorry about that," he said, "but that's not what I'm here to talk about today." "Then what's this all about? That Ordon program, is it?" Madame Mim sniffed. "Yes. Would you mind distributing these forms to your students and reminding them that 4 of us from Ordon Prep will be taking questions tomorrow during study hall. He deliberately didn't call it a round table so as not to upset Madame Mim with bad memories of Arthur and his knights. I suppose I could, said Madame Mim, taking the stack of papers from him. Although why anyone would want to stay in Ordon for that long, I don't know. It's always sunny there. Evie had always been Mother Gothel's favorite student during her time at Dragon Hall. Evie had excelled in her self-interest, selfishness, and selfies classes. Mother Gothel was trying out another age-defying skin cream when Evie found her in the faculty lounge. Evie, your skin, it's glowing, said Mother Gothel jealously. What's your secret? Fresh air, exercise, and a healthy diet, Evie replied with a smile. Bah, said Mother Gothel. Who wants to do that? Try it, you might like it, said Evie cheerfully. She set a bunch of applications in front of her former professor. I wanted to drop these off with you to give to your students. Did you hear about the VK program? Who hasn't? Said Mother Gothel, curling her lip. You know we're all gossips here on the Isle. Evie's smile faltered a little. Well, the 4 of us are going to be taking any questions tomorrow during a round table at study hall. If anyone's curious about Ordon Prep, they can come and talk to us. It would be great if you could let people know. Mother Gothel shrugged. People make their own decisions around here. Please, said Evie. She opened her purse and removed a tiny jar of moisturizer and pushed it across the table. From me, as a token of my appreciation. If it would help get a few kids to apply to Ordon Prep, was it truly that bad? Mother Gothel snatched it up greedily without a word of thanks. But, of course, Evie hadn't expected any. The 4 friends met back up in the loft at the end of the day. They were hungry for dinner, so Evie opened her trunk again and set out a full meal, pulling out a picnic blanket, a cooler full of icy drinks, and hot containers of fried chicken and mashed potatoes. Bless you, said Carlos, awed by the incredible spread in front of them. I thought we'd have to go to Ursula's fish and chip shop to eat. Or the slop shop, said Jay with a shudder. Goblin cuisine. Blech. I used to get the worst stomach aches. Preparation is the key to success, said Evie, spooning out braised greens and yams. And Mrs. Potts, added Mal. Here, here, agreed Evie, handing out napkins and utensils. They helped themselves and murmured their thanks to the benevolent school cook. So how'd it go? Evie asked. Do you think we'll get more applications? And anyone to come to the round table tomorrow? We tried, said Mal. Hopefully. Who knows, said Jay. They'd be silly to miss out on Ordon Prep. Carlos shrugged. He was too busy eating. There was a knock on the secret door, and Evie went to answer it. Oh, hey, Celia, she said. What's up? I don't think anyone else is interested in having their fortune read. No, I'm not here for that, said Celia, flushing a little. Okay, said Evie, ushering her inside. Come and have a bite to eat with us, then. Celia's eyes grew wide at the picnic spread. For a moment, the 4 VKs felt guilty for the bounty they shared. No one ate this well on the island. Here, have a donut, said Carlos. Thanks, said Celia, and took a big bite. So what's up? Asked Mal. Celia put down the donut and fidgeted with the sleeve of her dress. I came to tell you guys, Uma's back. She's definitely on the Isle of the Lost somewhere, and I think she's coming for you, Mal. Mal wiped her mouth with a napkin. Uma hasn't been seen anywhere, Celia, she said reassuringly. I promise. Ben and I have been taking the security of both Ordon and the Isle very seriously. Anyway, if she were back, she'd be with her pirates. But my cards foretell doom and disaster, said Delia. Jay cocked his eyebrow. Do they now? I wouldn't believe everything the cards say, said Evie, shaking her head and starting to put things away, folding up the picnic blanket and saving the leftovers in plastic containers. Whatever it is, we can take care of it, said Carlos. Don't worry about us. But I heard Uma's voice, and we all know Uma is dangerous, said Celia defensively. She already attacked you guys once. We're leaving the day after tomorrow, said Mal. We'll be fine, and we will watch out for Uma, I promise. But Evie saw something flicker in Mal's eyes. Was Mal worried? Were they safe from Uma? Evie shook away her thoughts. Everything was fine. They were just here to do a job. Nothing bad was going to happen. Okay, said Celia finally. Don't say I didn't warn you. We won't, said Mal. Thanks for coming by. If something happens, you owe me for predicting it correctly, said Celia with a smirk. I take gold coins. Lots of them. How can we forget, said Jay dryly. They said goodbye to Celia, and Evie sent her off with the leftovers. Mal locked the door behind her. Do you really think Uma's back on the Isle? Asked Carlos, when it was just the four of them. Anything's possible, said Mal. We'll keep watch. Okay, I'll take the first shift, said Jay. Uma again, said Evie with a sigh. She supposed that on an island full of villains, they should be glad there was only one to worry about, but it was a fitful night's sleep nevertheless.